On this week's episode, we have all the details on the new full self-driving beta. In addition, we've also got news on a new version of Model Y available in China that is extremely popular, and Tesla owning a 1,000-mile race of EVs. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 660 for the week of July 11th, 2021. All right, folks, the bulk of the show this week is, of course, about the new full self-driving Beta 9 finally making it out to testers on Friday night. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I had great fun poking back at Elon after he announced it was coming at the end of the week, and then saying, but which week, though, as this release was over a month late making it out. However, it was well worth the late release as we get a look at the videos from our famous testers out there. We'll start with our favorite Frunk Puppy CEO at 28 Delays Later on Twitter, giving us screenshots of the new interface. Gone are the sort of dots that kind of adorn the UI, and stepping in now are smooth lines for all of the lane lines and obstacles. Even the drive path UI is improved, though dots still rather than a solid path. Elon commented on the new UI in a tweet saying, quote, "Mind of car visualization will improve a lot in coming releases. Brightness/translucency indicate confidence of neural net in predicting any given object. Acid test is being able to assess with a quick glance at screen if car fully understands the environment." End quote. In layman's terms, the brighter and more solid the color, the more confident the car is in what it sees. In addition, folks notice that the UI captures if other cars are braking and displays brake lights on the screen. Elon added to this, saying, quote, "It will soon capture turn signals, hazards, ambulance/police lights, and even hand gestures," end quote. I can think of a couple hand gestures we don't want it to capture. Moving on to the actual action now, Holmar's catalog gives us an example where a kid runs across the street in front of a Tesla after passing through an intersection, and the car slows as any person would have, and then keeps on going on. Next up, Eli Burton shows us a video where he's on a very tight, unmarked road and has oncoming traffic. The car slows down, and as it does, the other vehicle yields, the car recognizes it, and speeds up and makes the pass. The final of these is perhaps the best and worst simultaneously. Dave Lee is making a stop at Whole Foods, and we pick up with him entering a parking lot. The car perfectly waits for a pedestrian crossing the entry, and then again waits for a car that turns left in front of him when he actually had the right-of-way. The car took a bit of its sweet time, then finally turning into the lot, taking a wide right turn, and then ultimately ending the video in Dave having to take over when the car was inexplicably steering hard toward the curb. Proving again, please always have your hands on the wheel in the event that the beta software doesn't behave as expected. Tidbit number 2 this week is a huge development out of China, where Inside EVs reports that Tesla has announced a standard range version of the Model Y rear-wheel drive. The vehicle is priced at 276,000 Chinese yuan, or roughly $42,500 US. Tesla already was selling all they could make from the factory, but this version qualifies for a subsidy that the higher trims don't qualify for. Following this, Ray for Tesla on Twitter reported that the new offering was already sold out through August. This is a curious development, as there is no such model in the US, after Elon famously said that it wasn't a high enough range for Tesla standards. However, this is not the first time Tesla has made a one-off model for a specific market, as they did the same in Canada, making a 151-kilometer/94-mile range version of the Model 3. So it shouldn't be construed as a definite sign that this model would make it around the rest of the world. And finally this week, in one of the neater accomplishments that Tesla has had, Car and Driver had a competition between 11 vehicles to see who could finish first in a 1,000-mile race, including charging time. The competitors were the Tesla Model S Long Range Plus, the Tesla Model Y Performance, the Tesla Model 3 Performance, the Ford Mustang Mach-E 4X, the Porsche Taycan 4S PBP, the Kia Niro EV, the Audi e-tron, the Volkswagen ID4, the Volvo XC40 Recharge, the Polestar 2, and the Nissan Leaf Plus. It will come as no surprise to anyone listening to this show that Tesla took all 3 top spots. The Model S crushed the field, finishing in a time of 16 hours, 14 minutes. The Model Y took second, finishing more than an hour and a half later at 17 hours, 50 minutes. Rounding out the podium was the Model 3, finishing just 5 minutes after the Model Y at 17 hours, 55 minutes. The fastest non-Tesla to finish the race was Ford's Mach-E at 20 hours, 31 minutes, more than 2.5 hours slower than the slowest Tesla, followed by the Porsche Taycan rounding out the top 5 at 21 hours flat. Definitely check out the video in the show description, as the video is well worth your 7 minutes. That'll do it for this week's show. Thanks to all my patrons supporting the show at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. As always, I have a special shout out to all the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, Dorian Steve Guberman, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Todd Sullivan, Zortec LED Canada, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, Ricky Johnston, Nathan Garza, Ed Patterman, Sunil Joseph, and Brad Lettner. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. Until next week, keep it charged and hit the road.